All right, let's talk about some tips and tricks that I've learned in the last 2 years of living in Singapore. It's gone in a blink of an eye. I got here in January 2020, then COVID hit, the world went to shit. We had circuit breaker, we have lockdowns, and yeah. So here's my top tips for living in Singapore, picking an apartment. Let's keep it to picking an apartment. Number one, right? Normally you would pick an apartment or a condo that's close to your work, right? It's 1 or 2 MRT stops away, it's 10 minutes away, maybe you could walk there. In today's age of COVID, bad idea. Most everyone has gone to a work from home model or a 50% team A, team B type of thing. So now living close to work is much, much less of a good thing. So if you could save yourself a little bit of money by living a couple stops away or 30 minutes away, it's completely fine now because most everyone I know is doing remote work or only going into the office a couple days of the week. So if you're only going to the office 1 or 2 times a week, then you don't need to be as close. So that's tip number one. You do not need to live close to the office anymore, depending on your job, right? Tip number 2. Pick a condo or an apartment with a balcony. For the love of God, get a balcony because it's going to help you so much. It's super nice to have a balcony. You could party on it. You can invite friends over. Having a balcony is like a friend magnet. It will instantly up your ability to invite people over. It really helps if you're single. And if you have a really huge balcony, you could work out on it. You could put your exercise gear out there, lounge. You could work, do your computer stuff, whatever. But having a balcony is almost essential. Also, something to think about. COVID-19 will not be the last big disease, plague, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much any time there could be the next bat plague or bird flu or swine flu or whatever it is. Singapore loves to over-rotate and just go medieval and shut things down. I went through circuit breaker, I believe it was, if I remember correctly, March, April, May, something like that. And it was terrible. You could not go out unless you were buying food or exercising. Everything was closed. It was like zombie apocalypse. The streets were empty, the MRT was empty, and I was stuck indoors without a balcony because I picked an apartment without a balcony. Tip number 3, you get your apartment. What's the first thing you should do? You should absolutely get a standing fan. Standing fan turns around, twists around, hit a button, it rotates, all that good stuff. That should be one of your first purchases. Get a standing fan. Your second purchase is probably a hot water maker, a kettle, the Brits call it. So if you get the fancy Japanese version, it holds like 2 quarts or 3 quarts. It always keeps it hot. Best thing ever next to having the fan. Get the thirsty Hippo water eater things, the dehumidifiers. Dehumidifier? Yeah, dehumidifier. So they're these plastic buckets that have pellets in them. And over time, water is attracted to this bucket and you'll see it fill up with water. Why? It is humid as fuck in Singapore. And things will get destroyed in your apartment, your clothes, your shoes, everything's gonna start getting mold because it is like 90% humidity. So make sure you get a bunch of thirsty hippos. You get the big ones and just put them in corners of the house. I have 3 to 4 of them, and every month or so they fill up, and it's amazing. Once it fills up, it gets super heavy. So that's water that would have been floating around in the air, just damaging all of your gear, your laptops, your shoes, your clothes, your blankets, all that nasty stuff, that extra water. Get the thirsty hippo dehumidifiers. Another tip for you guys is learn the dehumidify economy settings on your air conditioning. A lot of people I know, they just turn on the air conditioning to max and they just leave it. And then you wonder why your power bill at the end of the month is like 200, 300 bucks, right? So there's a setting on your controller. It's either called economy mode or it's called the dehumidifier mode. On my particular remote, it looks like 2 rain dots to signify it's taking out the water. So what that does is a lot about lowering the temperature or lowering what you feel the temperature is. So if you want to feel cooler, you need to take out the moisture in the air. So it's taking out the moisture, and once in a while it runs the fan, but it's not using the fan and the AC as much as the maximum setting. All right, so that's just a couple of tips off the top of my head. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, put them in the comment section below. And as always, if you like this video, click on like. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.